Hello, hello, hello. I hope everyone's doing well today. So yesterday in my class, we had some tremendous technological difficulties where nothing worked. And so if you remember, what we had to do was we essentially panicked and played a Kahoot to introduce informative writing. And we talked about thesis statements, we talked about different paragraph types and everything else. Well, today I want to focus explicitly on introduction paragraphs. So I have a little bit of a quick notes presentation to go over, and then there's an assignment to do, and that's in Google Classroom. So let me show you where to go. Here we are. All right, so I'm already in the period 5 Google Classroom, so we can just stay there. If you go to classwork, there are two things linked here into the practice intro writing assignment. One of those is the intro builder assignment. The other one is the presentation that I'm using to introduce all of the information to you. So if we click on introduction writing, it takes you to this presentation, and I'll actually flip through that here with you guys. But what it covers, or what we're going to be covering over the next few days, is parts of an essay. We're going to talk about different parts of the essays. We're going to make sure that we're writing good parts of those essays so that we can put them together and have a great informative writing by the end of it. So those parts of an essay: the introduction, the body paragraphs, and the conclusion. The introduction kind of tells what the essay will be about. The body paragraphs are the meat of the essay. They cover all your actual content. And then the conclusion's a review of your essay and a connection to the real world. I had a writing professor one time tell me that essays go introduction, body to conclusion, kind of like you're telling people what you're going to tell them, then you're telling them what you're telling them, and then you tell them what you just told them, which is a good way to remember it, I think. But focusing on introduction paragraphs, an introduction paragraph has 4 different sentences that we're looking for. Now, as we get into a little bit more involved writing, or we get a little bit older, you can start to combine these and change these. But for now, we're going to stick to 4 specific sentences. There's a hook, which is something to grab the reader's attention. There's a thesis, which is the topic of your essay. There's a transition, which is a sentence that connects the hook to the topic. And then there's a final sentence, which is like a mini outline of your essay. And I'm actually going to change that, and I like calling it the preview sentence. Preview sentence. It previews what your entire essay will be about. Kind of showing you what each body paragraph will be. So those are the 4 sentences in our introduction paragraph. Let's talk about hooks for a second. Hooks can be a fact, a stat, some sort of an alarming statement, like something that catches you off guard, or something that's super relatable. It cannot, in my class, ever be a question. It cannot include the most important part of your writing, and it can't just state the topic. So if the topic is to inform us about how to read an old-fashioned hand clock, then your hook can't be, "Today I will tell you how to read an old-fashioned hand clock." That's not grabbing anyone's attention. It should absolutely be something that gives the reader an interest in your essay. And remember, when you write an essay, you're turning it into me. So I've got to read like 100 of these things. So you might as well make it something that's interesting so that I at least enjoy it when I start grading all of them. So an example of a hook, there's a topic down there: how has quarantine affected you? And for all of these examples that we do, that's going to be the topic. How has quarantine affected you? That's the topic across all of these slides. Okay. So the example hook I came up with is: quarantine is like a prison. I mean, to me, that kind of makes sense. But I got a great student example earlier. Around 7% of adults believe chocolate milk comes from brown cows. And we'll come back to that in a minute about why I really like that hook. It seems completely unrelated, but we'll see. So then as we move into the next part, or the next important aspect of an introduction paragraph, that's the thesis statement. Now, your thesis statement and hook do not go right next to each other, but they're probably the two most important parts. A thesis statement states your topic as a matter of fact. It's not just a restatement of the topic, but how you'll write about it. So if the topic is, how has quarantine affected me? Your thesis isn't how quarantine affects me. Your thesis becomes quarantine has affected me in a lot of ways. Okay, now it can be any variation of that, but it should start with the word of your topic. Our topic is quarantine and the effects it has on us. Your thesis should immediately identify that. Quarantine has affected me in a lot of ways. Now, when you work on the homework today, a lot of people are just copying and pasting the topic into the thesis box. That's not right. The thesis is you stating the main central bleeding heart idea of your essay. Then between the hook and the thesis goes this transition sentence. Okay, it can be a sentence, it can be two. We'll probably just stick with one for now. This sentence comes after the hook, before the thesis. It works to connect the hook to the thesis. It might make the hook make sense or tell people why it belongs and make it more clear. An example hook that I said earlier is around 7% of adults believe chocolate milk comes from brown cows. And then the thesis that we're working with, this example thesis, is quarantine is affecting me in a lot of ways. That doesn't really go together until you get this transition sentence. The transition sentence says, yeah, that's weird, but that's how my brain is working during quarantine. So when you combine that hook with that transition sentence, it really makes the thesis stand out a little bit, and it makes everything more relatable. Okay? Around 7% of adults believe chocolate milk comes from brown cows. Yeah, that's weird, but that's how my brain is working during quarantine. Quarantine is affecting me in a lot of ways. Okay, that's a really great introduction paragraph because it kind of latches you on and also gives us something relatable that our minds are all over the place during this quarantine, and then transition straight into exactly what you'll be writing about. And then the last thing I ask for is this preview sentence, this final sentence of your introduction paragraph that shows what each body paragraph will be about. And this transitions straight into your body paragraph. Okay, there's no other sentence. This preview sentence serves as an outline of what your essay will be about and a transition into the body. I wrote an example one down at the bottom that says the 3 main ways I'm being affected are eating unhealthy, missing my friends, and being worried to go in public. If you combine that with the entire introduction paragraph, you're given this paragraph that says around 7% of adults believe chocolate milk comes from brown cows. Yeah, that's weird, but that's how my brain is working during quarantine. Quarantine's affecting me in a lot of ways. The 3 main ways I'm being affected are eating unhealthy, missing my friends, and being worried to go out in public. That's a great introduction paragraph. Like, that's an A+ introduction paragraph. It grabs your attention. It then connects it to everyone's life, identifies the topic, and then launches into what each body paragraph will be about. And then I know after reading this introduction that each body paragraph is going to be about what's in the introduction. The first body paragraph is going to be about eating unhealthy. The second one is going to be about missing your friends. And the last one's going to be about how you're worried to go out in public. It does everything it needs to do as an introduction paragraph. It is absolutely flawless. And that's an actual student example, just cleaned up a little bit for this presentation. So once you have like this general understanding of what we're doing, I'm kind of launching you straight into the assignment. And the assignment is right here. It's called Intro Builder. And I'm trying to keep the instructions somewhat vague, and I'm trying to send you into it, just forcing you to write, because writing is kind of like riding a bike. You can watch YouTube videos about how to ride a bike, and you can have someone tell you how to ride a bike, and you can sit down on a bicycle for the first time knowing what all the pedals do, knowing where the brakes are, and all of that stuff. But when you start to ride a bike, you learn that it's much more involved than that. If you've never sat down on one, knowing how a bicycle works doesn't teach you how to balance. It doesn't teach you how to turn. It doesn't teach you how to hop up or down a curb or avoid traffic. There's a lot more to riding a bike than what a YouTube video or a teacher can tell you. Sometimes you just have to do it. And in the same way, I've told you about writing, but I don't want to tell you too much. I just want you to start. So on this assignment, you have a topic that you can pick. You can choose the first topic or the second topic. Okay, you can write your hook for that topic in this little box where it says write your hook. So this is the one that, this how is quarantine and everything being shut down. That's the one we did a sample of. But if you want to talk about e-learning instead, you can do that. Just write a hook for that right there. And then using that same topic, write a thesis statement. And then now that you have your hook and your thesis statement, connect them, okay? And then write this last or preview sentence that has your 3 main ideas listed for your chosen topic. Write your preview, see that preview sentence for your intro in that box. So then you're essentially going through in the exact same order when you write your actual sentences for your actual introduction paragraph for your actual topic, you're going through the same order as this presentation. And if you get confused and you want to remember what these are, you can access it by clicking here. So again, in Google Classroom today is where your assignment is. You have this PowerPoint presentation or this slides presentation that I just went through with you that goes over what everything is and gives you an example of an effective one. And you also have the homework. You can have both open. So as you're typing into your homework, the intro builder, you can check back to the definitions in that presentation. Okay, that is class today. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you're having a great day whenever it is that you're watching this. And of course, if you need anything, just reach out. Can't wait to see you guys. Reach out if you need anything. See you later.